If you guys have the NBA app, you probably use it to check NBA scores every night, stats, league leaders, and then trending NBA news, or you guys check it on Woj. I don't really know. However, one of my favorite things about the NBA app is the weekly MVP ladder an NBA Insider puts out. It ranks the top MVP candidates every single week, and the top guy, there's always a number one. It sometimes varies, or sometimes it's the same guy at the top. We just want to see who everyone else is. This year, the MVP ladder is very interesting, but in what way? How is it super interesting? Is it the variation? Is it the same guy dominating? We're going to discuss that in today's video. But before we start my deep dive into this MVP race, it turns out about 99.8% of the people that watch the channel aren't even subscribed. 99.8%. That's like practically everyone. Well, except like the 28 of you who are subscribed, who I respect you guys a lot, and you guys can be in that category too if you just hit that red subscribe button. It is not that hard. And if you don't, I'm just going to say this, if you don't, all you get for Christmas is coal. And I know you don't want that. So please help support the channel. Also, make sure you like the video and comment your opinion right below. That was enough of that. Let's just get into the video. Let's just not waste time, okay? So last year, at around this time in the season, the MVP race was crazy close. It was between guys like Jokic, who ended up winning the award, obviously, first-time MVP. It was like super close. It was around this time, so many guys were in. I really couldn't decide. It felt like it varied every day. It also Joel Embiid, Steph Curry, Kevin Durant, James Harden, LeBron, Giannis, and Kawhi. And a big reason why that actually didn't happen and Jokic got a pretty comfortable MVP was because of the injuries. And this season, I think we can all admit, there's been this one guy that everyone's been pointing their eye at. But that doesn't just automatically make him the MVP. And this race might be a lot closer than you think. And the four candidates that I believe are in a tier of their own, and I've looked at this season as the MVP guys, are Steph Curry, Kevin Durant, Giannis Antetokounmpo, and Nikola Jokic. And in my opinion, these guys have been the four best players in the league. And right now, I don't think anyone can convince me otherwise. So let's just start going from left to right. Steph Curry is that guy. We all know how good he is, how talented of an offensive player he is, but he's had a tremendous season. And if you have not been paying attention to Steph Curry, which I highly recommend, watch this guy because he's been doing everything. He explains the bullseye. I think we all can agree. He's the greatest shooter of all time. A bullseye, a marksman. And last year, let's talk about his last year MVP campaign because he was the runner-up. However, the Warriors did not make the playoffs. They made it into the play-in. Steph Curry played pretty good in the playing game. I know Dylan Brooks clamped him up, but his numbers were incredible, led the league in scoring, except the guy Jokic got it over him. However, the Warriors didn't make the playoffs this year. Now the Warriors are 18-3 as of Friday, December. Is today the 3rd? I think today's the 3rd. Friday, December 3rd, which means today, by the way, you might be seeing this on the Saturday or Sunday. Tonight, the Warriors and Suns are playing for the second time. So you might be seeing this, and this game might be over, and this whole thing can change up. But as of Friday, December 3rd, this is what I'm going with. So the Warriors are 18-3. Now, it's not just because of him. He got so many other guys chipping in. Jordan Poole's had a breakout season. Draymond Green might be the defensive player of the year. Andrew Wiggins has really picked it up recently. And you got these role players that have played such important roles like Nemanja Bjelica, Otto Porter, Juantas Gonantes, and so forth. But Steph Curry has been the guy. He's putting up great numbers as ever. He's been one of the top scorers. His efficiency is as good as ever, especially with the volume. He takes them. He's not as good as his unanimous MVP season, but it's as good as ever. And the thing about Steph, he has had these marquee performances, these amazing performances that we just look at, like the 50-point game, like a couple 40s. Like he has been the breaking record breaker right now, and he's been the guy. And it's not just the offense. We're talking about his shooting and how he's incredible. His defense has really, really improved, and sometimes where he's scrappy and takes over the defensive end. Um, he's had these games where this team takes over on offense, but he's always there defensively. That end has really improved. And just because of all that, in honestly most of the odds I've seen, he is number one. And we all know how skilled he is, but Steph Curry's just such a great player. He's the most entertaining player I've seen in my life. I did not see MJ. And I would rather watch Steph work than LeBron, to be completely honest. And he's on pace to break records. And yeah, he's been absolutely incredible. His last game against the Suns, 12 points where they clamped him up, did drop his MVP campaign a little bit, but he's still the guy that everyone's been looking at. He still is a conversation. But the other guys that I want to shine some light on, Kevin Durant, the Slim Reaper. This guy was my MVP preseason pick. Actually, in my MVP preseason award predictions, right? These were my four guys that I had. I had KD as my MVP, and Steph, Giannis, and Jokic were all runner-ups, along with Jason Tatum, which has not really panned out the way it has. But let's see how Tatum goes against the Jazz tonight. But yeah, KD was my MVP preseason pick, and so far he's looking really, really good. Everything that I expected him to be. Been one of the best scorers, and the Nets are the number one seed without Kyrie. Harden had early struggles when picking it up recently. Claxton has been out for some time, who's actually a really big part for this team. And Blake Griffin has not been as good. Now, guys like LaMarcus Aldridge and Bruce Brown and Patty Mills, who played pretty big roles. But he leads the NBA in scoring as of now. And his efficiency is almost as good, if not better, than Steph. He shoots 55% from the field, which is ridiculous with the amount of tough shots that he takes. He is the definition of able to make the tough shots and the volume of he's the definition. In his 14th season, that's basically what he's been doing. The only thing that I did actually notice, and this is just a stat, right? The plus minus of KD is lower than any of these four guys. I'm not sure how much that means. You can really determine for yourself. Just wanted to point that out. But, your Eastern Conference Player of the Month is always going to be in this conversation. Next up, Giannis, reigning Finals MVP. We know how good he is. One of the most physically dominant players in the league. He's a force in the paint. He's shooting slightly more threes. He's making less. His percentage is a little down. And I was actually genuinely thinking he could have won that MVP because that three-point shot in preseason looked really good. I thought he'd be dangerous. But he's still as good as ever. Bucks have been great since they've not had injured. But they were 9-9 for a little bit. But now they're looking really good. Giannis hit some clutch shots, and we all know how good he is. He's a two-time MVP, and he's had dropped 50 in the elimination game. The guy I also want to talk about, I really wanted to talk about, is Nikola Jokic. Now, I did see this video recently. One of the best basketball YouTubers out there, in my personal opinion, Jxmy Highroller, put out a video saying how good Jokic's season has been. I think the title of the vid was, when you're the best player in the NBA and nobody cares. Now, I'm not going to say he's the best player in the NBA. He is one of the best, and that is no debate. And, he's the reason I put that magic wand or whatever there, he's a magician. He can do almost everything. He has literally no weaknesses. You might think of his defense. We'll get into that. But the thing is, he's not a mainstream name. People just get slept on him, even though he's the reigning MVP. Also, Jokic, the Nuggets have been so banged up. Jamal Murray is obviously injured. Michael Porter Jr. just got a back surgery, and he's injured. And PJ Dozier, who I really like, he played for the Celtics for a little bit, for 8 games. He tore his ACL. Jokic has been the carrying force of this team. And the Nuggets are like, I think they're an under 500 team, but I'm not going to look too much into that because when Jokic is on the team, he makes it so much better. And then even, I'm not saying that Nuggets guys can't really do anything because they got really solid role players to complement him. Will Barton, Aaron Gordon, Jeff Green, Monte Morris, Facu Campazzo, Bones Highland, guys like that. They complement Jokic really well. But Jokic has been the guy, and his defense has looked incredible. He's actually been a really solid defender this season. Now, um, one point that Jxmy Highroller made in his video was Jokic doesn't have that marquee performance, like that crazy performance that sets you over the top. Like we were talking about Steph, I don't think that really matters because he is one of the best players in the league. And personally, for the MVP race, I think these four guys are on a tier of their own. But there's always a tier ahead of them. There's always this one guy that we all know is going to win MVP. Let's just get this over with. That guy is Alex Caruso. No, I'm just joking. Caruso is kind of like most valuable player type. He's definitely not the most valuable player. It's just that the value he brings does not always show up in the stat sheet. Just wanted to shine some light on the guy, Alex Caruso. Now, two guys that I don't believe aren't in the MVP race, I just want to get this pretty much out of the way, is LeBron and Joel Embiid. They have not played enough games. They both had their struggling performances. They both have had amazing performances. But these two guys have not played enough games, which is why I don't believe they're in the MVP race. However, there are guys that might not be in the MVP top tier right now, but have had MVP caliber seasons, and guys, they're like all-stars that have been having great seasons and would be in that tier 2 range, right below Steph, KD, Giannis, and Jokic. And I just want to shine some light on those guys. PG, Luka, LaMelo, Jimmy Butler, and Ja Morant. These aren't the players with the highest odds by any means, according to this odd site I saw. Luka has a plus 1,500. Jimmy Butler has a plus 2,200. PG has a plus 3,000. Ja has a plus 4,000. And LaMelo has a plus 8,000. But they've all had great seasons. Most of them have actually had their best seasons of probably their career. Maybe except Luka. So PG, I think the Clippers missing Kawhi, and he's been the lead guy for them. He's a great two-way player. The Clippers are a 500 team, though, so I feel like that does drop his case a little bit, but he's having an amazing season. And Luka, he struggled to start the season, but ever since then, he has hit some clutch shots. As much as I hate to say it, he has, because I did see that Celtics Mavs. If you know, I'm a Celtics fan. I did see that live, and that was probably the play of the year so far. So, and last year, that might have been the play of the year, too, when Luka drained that shot against the Celtics as well. I'm not going to tell. Okay. He's hit clutch shots, and he's been the lead guy for Dallas. They've got some good production from KP, Jalen Brunson, Tim Hardaway, but it's the Luka show. I believe he has the highest usage rating in the entire league, and they're the 4th seed, which does speak to Luka's greatness. Two things, though. His free throw shooting, it's not that great. It's a little down percentage-wise, and he has negative net rating. LaMelo, you might not see him as in this category. I think he's like that surprising player that I would put in there that not a lot of you would put in there, but the value on his team is unlimited because he could really do everything. He's been incredible. And the Hornets look really, really solid. Now, LaMelo, we all know what he can bring. He has great passing. He's fun to watch, and he can definitely push the pace. But his shooting has looked incredible. It's much better than his rookie season, and he's taking tougher shots too. His defense has gotten better. His shooting splits 42 from the field, which is okay. He could, like Lonzo, he could work on his finishing. His 39% from 3, especially for a guy that we thought was kind of just a shot chucker, is really good. And the 90 from the free throw line is also really good. He's becoming one of the better free throw shooters in the league. He did hit, has really been playing really good, recently. He hit that clutch shot, which ended up in a loss for the Hornets against the Bucks, but that was a crazy shot. And throughout the season, he's averaging 28 and 8. You can't tell me that's not like all-star numbers, in my opinion. He definitely deserves to make the all-star team. No doubt about it. Right now, he's the best player in his class over Anthony Edwards, my personal opinion. Jimmy Butler, we all know the drive, the physical ability of Jimmy Butler. His defense has been leading the Heat's defense. He does all the little things really well. The Heat have looked good, and it's his career scoring year. And then John Moran. I love this guy. He's so fun to watch. I love the attitude that he plays with. Now, he did sprain his ankle, but he still has 19 games under his belt. I think that's enough for him to be considered. Memphis is great with him on the court. He has been a very good clutch scorer. His three-point shots gotten better, and Memphis now has a really good playoff chance. And personally, I don't think John Moran has that many weaknesses because for his size, he makes up with his athleticism. So, yeah, these are 5 guys that I believe aren't the MVP favorites, but with given a month of great basketball, and we could see them right in the conversation because think about it, we're only a quarter way into this season. Only a quarter. So much can change. We saw LeBron at the top of the ladder last year, and I don't think he finished top 10 or something. So much can change. But right now, personally, if I had to give a pick right now, it would probably be Steph Curry. The Warriors have been the best team in the league. Steph is putting up great numbers. He is doing everything. He's not forcing it as much. And I just think that the MVP race, it's anyone's game right now. It could change. But I would just give it to Steph right now. I feel like he would be my number 1. Maybe KD number 2. And then Jokic and Giannis about the same tier. I don't really know where to rank them. I feel like you can really pick anyone and have a good case out of those 4 guys. And those 5 players that I mentioned earlier might even have a good shot too. But yeah, that is my MVP race deep dive. It's very interesting, and I want to see how this plays out. So yeah, Steph Curry, though, he's just so fun to watch. I love watching Steph Curry, and I feel like when Steph Curry's on, I just love watching that guy. You know who else I really love watching? Josh Giddey. And if you could check out Josh Giddey's, my recent video on Josh Giddey, if you've not watched him, because, they literally just lost by 73 points. So I don't not blame you for not watching Thunder games, but I've watched a little bit of Josh Giddey, and I want to give you a little deep dive on Josh Giddey if you want to check out my recent video. And yeah, until next time, I guess. Thank you guys for watching.